week, they said, though, the IAEA, that they'd lost track of a stockpile of near bomb-grade enriched uranium, enough to produce 10 nuclear warheads, because Iran said the stockpile could be moved in the event of an Israeli attack. So Francesca Gianavini joins us, Executive Director, Project on Managing the Atom at Harvard's Kennedy School. So, you know, we were talking a lot about politics back and forth. This is obviously something that we shouldn't just gloss over either. What are the risks when Israel goes in? Forget about the United States and bunker busters and what might be to come, but Israel's already attacked many of these sites. What are the risks?
The risk could be potentially quite severe, as the International Atomic Energy Agency has warned today. It depends very much on the targets of the strikes. So the Israelis, as your maps show, have targeted, for example, enrichment facilities in Natanz. Yeah. This one actually has very little risk of radioactive material. But the Bushehr nuclear reactor, which is a very significant power plant, could actually potentially reach the level of a Fukushima accident if struck directly. And the other issue is, if the Israelis were going to attack electricity grid, which is necessary to cool down the reactor, also that one would somehow lead to a meltdown of the reactor and the core. So we are looking at the potential of Fukushima should the Israelis actually use Bushehr as a target.
What about if the U.S. gets involved? That's Fordell. We've had this animation up a number of times. I have on the tablet here some more on it. You know, first we start on the map, and we've pointed out to a lot of people, because this particular facility that the U.S. bunker buster bombs would supposedly be needed for has centrifuges that are beneath the mountain that are buried. And this graph shows kind of the depth of all of that and what the experts tell us would be needed to penetrate. So are the risks similar there, greater?
So they are different. In the case of Fordo, you have two types of risk. One is a seismic risk, because it's under a mountain, and so you will have to generate significant seismic activities in the region, especially if the United States chose to use this very large bomb. But then there is an issue of, I would say, it's a chemical reactions that you might actually end up having with uranium enriched, and also with the chemicals that are actually part of the Fordo power plant. So you will end up having not so much radioactive release, but maybe really chemicals toxicity, which is equally quite dangerous, and also, of course, in terms of environment, will actually have some repercussions.
Now, I know you're just analyzing these, you know, these are scientific risks. You base it on what the international inspectors are saying, what the Atomic Energy Agency has been saying. Is that right? I mean, because one of the reasons I asked, we're going to have a conversation in a moment about the intelligence on all of this and what we actually know about the Iranian nuclear program. So what would you say to people who are tuning in and saying, oh, I keep hearing different things? What do we actually know as a kind of an international community about Iran's development?
Connell, I want to thank you for this question, because I think some actually assume we know a lot, and some actually say we don't know very much. And so the confusion is as follows. The weaponization program, any nuclear weapon program, consists of multiple phases and multiple dimensions. What we know at this point in time is that the Iranians have accumulated a large quantity of enriched uranium at 60%, roughly 400 kilograms, so 200 pounds, that goes way beyond any potential peaceful use. So this is material that has raised already concerns because cannot be used for a nuclear power plant. Right? But what we don't know, and this is where the intelligence really differs and diverges, is how far have they gone with the other phases of weaponization. For example, you need detonations, you need nuclear weapon designs, you need missiles that are able to lift up the core. And so we don't exactly know the development of that part of the weaponization program. The Israelis argue that the Iranians have already accessed all these phases. The Americans argue that no, actually they don't have, for example, nuclear weapons designs yet. And that is where the difference is. We know that there is a weaponization intent, but what we don't know is the development of the infrastructure to lead to a nuclear weapon.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.